painted like a rat that had just escaped the claws of a ravenous cat. He could hardly acknowledge the sympathy offered by the king's men that surrounded him, urging him to take heart and seek medical treatment in hospital as he pulled up his shirt to show his badly hurt body at Ubeku village in Yewa North local government area, Ogun State. "Sorry," said some of the women repeatedly in Yoruba as Mulero pulled up his shirt to show the wounds from the flogging of his muscular body, urging him to go to the hospital for treatment. Mulero, one of the young men in the rustic village, had drawn the eye of some soldiers by speaking truth to them. The soldiers, numbering 10, had escorted some Herdsmen on a mission to intimidate the villagers after they arrested an attempt by the herders to graze their cattle in the community after alleged repeated attacks and killings of farmers who dared protest the destruction of their farms. The Herdsmen, who had departed the village after their continued presence was rejected by the villagers, had suddenly resurfaced at about 2 p.m. on December 19, 2020 with a handful of soldiers from the 35 Artillery Brigade, Alamala, Abeokuta. The soldiers headed straight to the palace of the traditional ruler of the community, Chief Olaleye Adigun, calling out the villagers and warning them against preventing the evicted Herdsmen from returning to the village. It was in the middle of this strange encounter that Mulero told the soldier that the herders would not be allowed to remain in the community because of their brutal killing of residents and the destruction of their farmlands in recent times. Mulero said, "Everyone was frightened by the action and utterances of the soldiers, but I summoned courage to tell them how a geography teacher, Mr. Yomi Akinola, and 2 students of Community High School, Ibeku, among others, were killed by the Herdsmen while our women were raped and killed on their ways to the farm." Mulero's blunt comments enraged the Herdsmen, who immediately asked the soldiers to deal with him. The military men allegedly responded by promptly seizing, kicking and flogging the young man mercilessly, leaving him serious injuries. Recalling the ugly experience, Mulero said, "Before I knew it, the Herdsmen had motioned to the soldiers, who immediately pulled me out of the audience and flogged me mercilessly with a wire whip. It was as if I stole something valuable. As I speak, my body still aches because of the wounds, even after I had been treated in a hospital." Numerous other villagers were subjected to the brutal act as the soldiers escorted the Herdsmen from one village to another, all in a bid to intimidate us into allowing them to graze on our farms. But Mulero and Ubeku village were not the only person and area that tasted the bile of the soldiers who escorted the Herdsmen in a military patrol van from one village to another. Innocent indigenes of Ishelu, Ibeku, Agboujodu, Asa, and other villages were also harassed and assaulted by the soldiers at the instance of the Herdsmen. After leaving Ibeku, the herders and the complicit soldiers moved to neighboring Asa, where they reenacted the Ibeku scenario, causing the helpless villagers to panic. At Asa, the herders cited Mulero's brother, Gabriel Mulero, accusing him of being among the crowd that jeered them after his brother was beaten up. There and there, the soldiers seized the young man, giving him some deafening slaps and kicking him mercilessly before whisking him away to a neighboring village, Agboujodu, where they dropped him off after elders of the community pleaded for his release. At Agboujodu, the helpless villagers would not utter a word, having heard how the soldiers harassed and assaulted the Muleros. But despite their forbidding silence, some of the residents received severe beatings from the soldiers for keeping mum. Gabriel Mulero said, "I was returning from a party at Asha with one of our friends named Matthew Adaramaja when my elder brother told me on the phone that some soldiers had led herdsmen to our village and brutalized him. To avoid trouble, we stayed away from the scene and sat near some commercial motorcycle operators. Suddenly, one of the herdsmen named Ali led the soldiers to the spot where we were seated and accused us of being one of the people that were opposed to them. The soldiers descended on us with farm belts and flogged us severely. They tied our legs and pushed us into their patrol van, threatening to shoot us if we tried to jump down and run away. They said they were taking us to their barracks at Alamala. They accused us of preventing the herdsmen from grazing on our farms and vowed to teach us a lesson. However, when they got to Agbojodu village, elders of the community pleaded with them to free us. We were badly brutalized and we had to visit Ibeku Health Center for treatment. This was what we were talking about. I think this story has really come up when the monarchs wrote to the Nigerian army to know who and who to fish out those army or the soldiers that really escorted these people to their palaces. And more so, now we are not hearing from the real people because we were just told that, oh, one person, some two people. But now these people are now coming out to testify to what had been said, the incident that really happened. At least we can really know that these are the people that were really tortured. Not that, one person and all of that. Because the other story that we talked about, it was the monarchs that were writing to the Nigerian army to be able to fish out those soldiers that really escorted those herdsmen to that community. But you can now see that these people are giving a detail of what actually happened. Nigeria this is not the first time this kind of a thing has been happening. A man came again from the same Ogun state saying that he lost about 8 million naira to Fulani herdsmen. All of those things have been happening. This kind of a thing happened in Benin, Edo State, one time ago. That was 2 years ago. A man came from Europe. The same thing happened to him. But see, another man came again from Germany again. So that's the doctor they talked about. All of these have been happening. Again, the governor of Ogun State has never even come out to even make mention of anything like this. To the extent that the monarchs were able to write letters to know the people that really came and escorted these people to their village. Up to now, we've not heard anything. Now, some people will now be talking that, Yoruba people are doing this. These things are happening now. All those who are always commenting that Sunday Igbo is doing what he's not supposed to do. He's insulting elders. Does it mean we don't have elders in this village? Does it mean we don't have governor in that state? He has not said anything. Now, once the people begin to react now, they will say, oh, they've started. Gabashe will not hear this kind of a thing. Who will hear this kind of a thing and just fold his hands? These are the farms they operate on. Is their livelihood. They will not hear this. Presidency will not see it. So they have the right to move all over the place and begin to intimidate others. Is that what we are saying? When Buhari will come out now, he will tell you have to live with them. That Nigerians should learn how to live with them. At this age and time, we talked about this thing. This thing, we said it before Gabashe, before the Ondo incident happened, when they were told to leave that the government reserve, the forest reserve. Gabashe will pretend as if he did not hear this kind of a thing. All of them from the north, all the groups from the north, they will pay their fears as if they didn't hear this kind of a thing. You can imagine. Yes, soldiers, it has gotten to that level. They will hear later.